Yes, hello and welcome to another DVD review. And again with another horror movie. This time, The Forest. A not that well known movie. Like always, I'm first going to do a little DVD review and then I'm going into the movie. So, the DVD itself, I think it looks pretty good. The cover, I really like the cover. I think that looks really cool. From the side, it's nothing special. And from the back. And there's also another cover in it, which I changed because the 16 thing doesn't look really good. And here's also a little booklet with some other movies. And of course the DVD. And yeah, so it's a nice DVD. It wasn't that expensive. So let's go into the movie. The Forest came out in 2016, so it's not that it's not an old movie, and it has a runtime of 90 minutes. It was also directed by Jason Zada, and it has some bonus material on it with some interviews, a B-roll, a featurette, and a trailer. I watched the B-roll and the featurette, and that was actually really interesting to see. I really liked that. Also, like I already said, it's FSK 16, and yeah. Now, spoiler alert for the movie. The movie opens with Sarah, the protagonist, that she goes to Japan because of her twin sister Jess, who is actually who went missing, and she was last seen going into the Aokigahara forest, which is a forest in Japan where people go to commit suicide, and that's an actual forest, an actual real place. Sarah then takes the taxi to the hotel and has a nightmare. She visits the school where Jess teaches the next day, and one of the schoolgirls got scared when she first arrived because she thought she was a ghost, like she thought she was Jess. Sarah then takes the train to Aokigahara, and she goes to an hotel where Jess stayed. And the hotel manager says that they found her body, but it turns out that it's not her. The schoolgirl then, not the schoolgirl, one of the employers actually says that Yurei is in the forest, which is basically like an angry ghost, and if you get lost, they will use your sadness against you, so that you will kill yourself. Sarah goes to her hotel and meets Aiden at the bar. Aiden is a journalist, and they said that he will take Sarah with him and a park nature guide named Michi, and he also wanted the permission to record her for his story. It turns out that Sarah's parents died because of a drunk driver, and that when she was little, and Jess saw everything, but Sarah closed her eyes so she didn't see anything, and yeah, that sticked with Jess throughout her whole life. The next day, the three go into the forest, and Michi warns her, if you see something weird, that it's not real and it's all just in your head. They find someone with a tent, which basically means if you bring a tent, that means you are not sure if you will kill yourself or not. Then they also find another body, like an actual body. Sarah then starts to hear things, and they find Jess's tent. So she knew she was still there. It's getting dark, and the guide Michi and Aiden also want to go back because the guide Michi says that you really shouldn't stay at night in the forest. But Sarah wants to stay, and so Aiden decides to stay too, and the guide goes back. At night they start hearing things, and Sarah also sees the schoolgirl from earlier. The next day she sees more and more weird things, and Aiden and Sarah actually go into a fight. And it turns out that Aiden lied, and he has pictures of Jess on his phone, which I still don't know if that was actually real or not. I don't think that was real. I think Sarah imagined that, but I'm not sure. Sarah then runs away and sees and hears things again, but this time she ignores them, but she finally falls into a cave. Midgie comes back and sees that Aiden and Sarah are gone, and calls the police. And turns out that Sarah's husband is now also there, and they go on a search after them. Sarah then starts to hear things in the cave, and the schoolgirl is back again, and she wants to take Sarah to Jess, and the schoolgirl was basically one of those Yurei ghosts. Sarah then finds a camera, and in the camera itself, there's actually her parents' stuff inside, and also a nice jump scare. Aiden then saves her and gives her a knife so she trusts him more. Sarah injures her hand, and she sees that there are maggots on the hand, and so she takes the knife to get the maggots out of there, and she nearly cuts her wrist. That was basically just an hallucination. They then find the cabin, and Sarah hears Jess in the basement, and also gets a note from her that Aiden wants to kill her. So she threatens Aiden with a knife that he should get Jess out of there, and Sarah stabs Aiden accidentally, and he dies. The basement then opens, and Sarah sees the death of her parents this time, and her father awakes and attacks her, and doesn't want her to let go, and so she uses the knife to cut his hands or his fingers. So he lets go, and Sarah runs away. We then cut to Jess, who is indeed still alive, and then we come into the ending where where Jess gets to Sarah's husband, and we see that Sarah runs after her, but she gets stopped by the schoolgirl, and it turns out that Sarah has cut her wrists from earlier when she wanted to get the fingers of her dad off her, because that was obviously not real. So they basically made her kill herself, and at the end she also gets dragged into the ground, and Jess gets rescued and has the feeling that Sarah is dead, basically because they are twins. And the last scene is Midgie looking into the forest, and a little jump scare of the ghost of, or the Yurei of Sarah. And yeah, that was the whole movie. Wasn't that long, also wasn't that complicated. The acting is good in my opinion. Natalie Dormer is really good. Taylor Kinney also plays the role of Aiden, pretty good. The movie itself is more like it is a horror movie, but also more like a psychological thriller, because it's messes with your head. You don't know what's real, and you don't know what's fake. The story itself is good. I actually wondered back in 2016 that there wasn't already a movie about this forest, considering how old this forest is. But yeah, the story is good because the forest exists in real life, so it's good marketing for the forest itself. The soundtrack was decent. The makeup was also okay. Some things which I didn't like was this random jump scare at the hotel at night. For those of you who have seen the movie know what I'm talking about. Like, that jump scare added literally nothing to the story. It was just a scare, nothing else. I don't really like these things when they are literally just like some random jump scare just to scare us, which adds nothing to the story. I don't like that. I did like that they didn't kill Midgie on his way back, because they could have easily done that. And also find it pretty impressive that the director actually went inside the forest, like he said that in the featurette, that he went to the forest to have a better understanding of it, and to recreate the forest also better. And yeah, that was actually, the movie itself is pretty well done, considering they obviously didn't shoot in the forest itself. But as a whole, I wouldn't call the movie good, because I wouldn't call it boring, but sometimes it's a little bit tiring. I don't know how to say it. It's a little bit slow, even though the movie is not long. And yes, I don't know. I don't really know how to say it. I think they could have make take make a better movie, considering the story of the forest is has such a huge potential, you know. But else I would call the movie definitely decent. So I'm giving it a 6.9 out of 10, which is pretty decent. And this was also my fourth time watching it, so I do enjoy it every time I watch it. Like, it's one of those movies which aren't good, but I still enjoy, and I can watch once every year, you know. And yeah, that was my review for The Forest. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one. See you then.
Wanna see you in slow motion. Come stay the night, we can stay up till it's bright. In the morning, got the top open. Come take a ride, we can go where you like. I wanna see you in slow motion. Come stay the night, we can stay up till it's bright.